thank all of you for being here today. This is a very, very unique opportunity to do something that few people believe can be done. I never, ever face any challenge believing that I cannot succeed. I would not be standing here today if I did not think that there is a great opportunity for us to deliver a victory for the Democratic Party in this congressional district. That's why we're here. We're here to get behind a candidate and make her the nominee of this party. A nominee that we believe has the life experiences to take us to success in the general election. Now, I always say that I believe that no matter who or what we may think we are, we can be no more, nor we will be any less than what our experiences allow us to be. Just think about that. We are the sum total of those experiences. And I will commend to all of you, if you have not done so already, go to whatever your source may be and look at the background and the life experiences of Elizabeth. Now, I'm going to call her Elizabeth today, though last weekend I was with her brother up in Northern Virginia. And in the middle of his talk, he started talking about Lulu. I didn't have much of an idea who he was talking about until I listened very closely. I don't believe I've ever heard a more passionate endorsement of a family member than that which he gave for his sister. And I'm pleased to be here today to be a part of that. Let's think about what our challenges may be. I was looking around, I think I should have looked for a chair, and I couldn't see one. My wife and her sister are here, and I just saw the legs of a chair, so I know they're in somewhere near that chair. We left Columbia around 7:30 this morning, stopped off in Santee to pick up her sister, and then we had a big rally up in North Charleston at a Union Hall. Then we went to the City Hall here in Charleston because our daughter Mignon, was being sworn in for her second stint as a member of the Federal Communications Commission. And I told the folks this morning that I am wearing a pink shirt with a purpose. I made a conscious decision to put this shirt on this morning. It's the only pink shirt that I have, and every now and then I think I need to make a statement. And today is a day for me to make a statement. Anybody who experienced the last national campaign, you know how important it is for us to put women, more women, in office. There is a movement afoot. And if I were not a student of history and a former teacher of history, maybe none of this would matter to me. But I've studied history and I've taught history, and I can tell you there is a strange undercurrent afoot in this country that we better be very, very careful about. We see attempts being camouflaged under all kinds of ideas and with all kinds of names, an attempt to turn the clock back. Why else would 435 people sit in a room representing this great nation of ours? Why would we have difficulty not putting in place for the first time, not breaking ground, but difficulty reauthorizing a little piece of legislation in order to ensure that there be no sanctioned violence against women.
That's right.
I might be able to say, okay, we're plowing new ground. If this bill were coming up for the first time, I might even say, you know, I understand you don't want to go someplace you've never been. But this bill has been there, it's been on the books. Our vice president is the father of this legislation. It's been around. And all we are saying, let's reauthorize this bill so that women in our society can be protected. And we can get a majority of the United States House of Representatives to approve that bill and move it forward. That's another reason that we need to get more women in the Congress who have the experiences that are necessary to bring to bear when this kind of legislation comes to the floor. Why is it that the President of the United States can stand before the Congress and say to them, we ought to have universal access to education for our preschoolers? And you have a majority of the House of Representatives seeing that as something quite unneeded and too expensive. Why is it that we can have legislation like Obamacare? Someone said to me, you know, Obamacare is so expensive. Think about that. Just think about legislation that says that we're not going to allow you to discriminate against men or women with pre-existing conditions. Legislation that says being a woman is not a pre-existing condition. That's what this campaign is all about. Putting somebody in the Congress with the life experiences that allow these kinds of progressive legislation, needed legislation, to go forward. Now, I could talk to you about her life experiences, but I don't want to stand there and talk about what she has been through as a child. I said to Hope Derrick, who's here with me there, who sort of handles this media stuff with me, I said to her, I said, you know, there's something unique about Elizabeth's experiences that I think would bring a lot of sensitivity and even a little bit of education to those of us who have been elected to make these kinds of decisions. She's had some very unique experiences, and she has been challenged by many of those experiences, and she's overcome those experiences, and she has gone out and made herself a very productive adult. Now, we've got some things in common. I'm a big proponent of Clemson's wind turbine program. I've been in politics too long not to take credit for the legislation and the appropriations that made that possible. But even when you create something, you got to have people in place to make it work. And she has had the experience of getting that program launched here in Charleston. I believe that it is cutting edge, and I think the experiences that she's developed there will go a long ways toward helping to educate other members of Congress why we need such legislation going forward, such issues, such programs going forward. I'm pleased to be here today. I guess I better say one other thing. I know what a challenge is going to be for some of us in this primary. It ain't going to be a challenge for me. There's no challenge for me. This primary is about getting a nominee that can carry the Democratic message in the general election. I'm convinced that whoever comes out on the other side will not have the sensitivity, will not have the background and experiences that Elizabeth has. And therefore, we have got to do what is necessary to make sure that she wins this race. Now, if I can get 56% with 5 people in the race, we ought to make sure she gets 66% with only 2. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to be here today, not just to endorse this candidacy, but to have with me someone who's here in South Carolina all the time, and he'll have a little time. He's no longer chair of the Legislative Black Caucus, Bill Clyburn, here with me. And I'll be coming home on weekends. He'll be here during the week. Y'all make sure that y'all make good use of him, because I'm going to hold him partly responsible for what takes place in this campaign. I'm pleased to be here with my wife, sister-in-law, with my pastor, with my chief of staff, Yevie Watson, who is back there. We are all in on this race. We're going to do what is necessary to win this race. We cannot do it alone. We need every one of you. We need to go to every nook and cranny, go to every church, every other place that may not be so churchy, and let's get this thing done. Ladies and gentlemen, Elizabeth Colbert.
I guess the cat's out of the bag with Lulu, huh? Thanks for letting everybody know. I cannot, first of all, thank you all for being here today, and what an extraordinary day for the campaign. Thank you so much, Congressman Clyburn, for your endorsement. I can't thank you enough, especially coming from the congressman who has represented so many people in this district before the redistricting, and I can't thank you enough. You all heard Congressman Clyburn just talk about major things that are my passion: job creation, education, and our seniors and our health care. As many of you know, Congressman Clyburn has been a very large supporter of the district with helping with the dredging of the port, our engine to keep global trade moving, and the wind turbine test facility. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. And then obviously too, Congressman Clyburn, your first teaching job was here in Charleston, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So you understand the passion and the importance of education, and without education, you can't have a thriving community. Without education, you can't have a thriving society. So with education, it's very important, because without education, you can't support your industry. And then obviously our seniors. You have been so good to be there, to step up in the face of all the deficit discussions, to make sure that the deficit doesn't be placed on the backs of people who can least afford it, and I thank you for that. And protecting our seniors with the Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security that they work so hard for their lives to have in their retirement. Thank you for that as well. And I want to make mention of one other thing, because it's incredible. Congressman Clyburn has been in Congress for 20 years. And in that 20-year period, during the Clinton administration, Congressman Clyburn worked closely with the Clinton administration to balance our budget and deliver a good fiscal health for us. And thank you for that. As a Democrat, I appreciate that as well. So you and President Clinton, well done. I am running for Congress because I think we've lost our way in Washington. I am running for Congress for the same reasons that Congressman Clyburn is there. It's time to pay attention to our communities, and it's time to give them the American dream as well. So Congressman Clyburn, I can't thank you enough I want to run for Congress and win this race. If you're not in it to win it, don't get in it, right?
Absolutely.
So we're going to win this race, and we're going to help turn us back to the majority. And I'm looking forward to working with you on Capitol Hill. Thank you.
Thank you.